Okay.
Thank you so much for your patience. This is part two of the Teacup Oracle of Delta and the Unlikely Channeler. That's me. You viewing of events that can or may occur in the month of October. Before we restarted, I think the Oracle of Delta was saying that the something about the authority of over self is a big part of what's going to be happening independently, individually. Anyway, go ahead, teacup and
Um, okay. Am I still? I just lost myself. Uh, Teresa,
um,
T, are you still there?
yes, I am.
Okay. Do you see? I don't know where I am. Just honest to God. That's
Well,
very
you
funny.
are you. I can see you, and so if you just want to hold up the phone
I've got it on the thing. Yes.
for Oracle of Delta.
Yes. Do you want to say something, Oracle of Delta?
I'll just listen to the next question and answer accordingly.
Okay. I want to get back to the I want to get back to okay, I want to readdress. Okay, so we were talking about the when the undead. So the when the frequency comes through, and he's referring to a video game that he's played in the past, and it's called Dead Space. And he said that he believes that there are going to be necromorphs, which is an undead um, uh, being. And I looked at him and I said, well, does that mean um, that we're going to, is it going to affect a bunch a bunch of people that have decided over the last uh 3 years? Is this the coming of where we start seeing the population decrease and decrease fast? And he said, yes, probably. He said it's the beginning of what we think is coming. Um, because there's just too much that I also heard that when this emergency alert comes on, and it will be President Trump's voice that comes through. Now, I don't know what that means, but I do remember that. Um, Also, Oracle, you went over, we did speak about a few things the other day, and you went over the October 4th date. Do you have anything you have on that right now?
Mm, yes. So, in the context of how our reality is shifting and changing around us, the best way within the 3D matrix of society that we live in and the shared agreed reality that we currently reside. So, I agree that red light means stop, right? So, really, for red light meaning stop, that means everyone has to agree to it for it to work.
Right.
That's how an interesting reality works.
Yes.
Only when things are agreed upon is it make it real. Um, in the shifting way that reality is changing in such a significant way, the bifurcation event, it's within the realm of the quantum physics. This is the quantum level cellular change of which consciousnesses on this planet, some will go towards an evolution cycle, and others will be going through a devolution cycle. And the closest level of bifurcation change that we will be observing is similar to 2017. And if everyone remembers, neurotic, manic response from many people. And Trump just happened to have been the face of that bifurcation at that moment because that's what was going on in the world. And I'm not saying Trump is involved in this in any way because I do not want to put my mark on any political figure. I'm just saying in 2017, with the election of Donald Trump, there was a bifurcation event already happening in the quantum realms, which manifested as a lot of people that I know personally, I've never seen since then, because they literally went on their own path of neurosis and really just madness and illogical action, irrational emotions and illogical actions. And that is the best way to describe an individual that goes through a negative bifurcation, a descending bifurcation. So, if anything, that's a good way to put into context this zombie apocalypse that people say. It is also that is far too material and far too simple to explain the kind of event that's happening. Emergency broadcast system is literally just the 3D realms way of trying to rationalize exactly what's going to happen naturally.
Right. Naturally.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an attempt at deception. So don't anyone think that that's not what this is.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so let's conclude this kind of, even though I don't really think we're ready to conclude it, but let's conclude this for 1 second because I now want to bring in something else. And I don't know if you guys are aware, I don't know, but there is the opening of the Sphere in Las Vegas was this last weekend. It was on September 29th, I believe. It has been a 4.5-year project. So $2.3 billion. It is a round ball sphere in the city of Las Vegas, I believe by the, what was the casino? Anyway, when you see it, they've put a big eye on it where the eye blinks. It is, you guys, it's like so Luciferian. I can't even hardly talk about it. Anyway, okay. The band that opened up the Sphere was none other than Bono of U2. Okay. Now, if you watch the videos of this, it is virtual reality at its finest. It's seriously, I would like to sit in it for one time because to see what these people see. But then like literally that day, Facebook, what's his Facebook? Zuckerberg. He decided to put out his new headphones where you go into the new headset to go into virtual reality, because I think what they're trying to do is put people into these virtual realities.
Yes.
Where you
can I make a comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so part of bifurcation, there are three. It's an interesting term because it's not as perfectly explained as it's more of a trifurcation. So we have, no matter what, you're going to have the virtual reality timeline. That is the descending timeline. That is where you will be taken into realms where it is promised to be free and have access to all these amazing worlds, when really you are in a consciousness trap in which you cannot escape ever.
Yes.
Then there is the blended reality, in which there will be a within your line of view, you will see other people who are not as present as you. You are far more awake. You will see that you are unable to be affected by the actions of those that are in their virtual reality play game, because their everyday world will be a virtual reality play game. So whether or not they have the headphones on, they will be in a triggered mind control hallucinatory state. Okay, and it's as if being in a virtual reality descending world where things will get slowly worse and worse. Well, those in the blended reality will be able to slowly find their way into the higher timeline, in which there at this moment is a very few people that will be actually keeping anchoring that field of reality into a triple way. So there's virtual reality, negative timeline, blended reality, where you are not affected by the consequences of those in that virtual. However, you will see, and it may seem terrifying what is happening to other people around you, but when you look at your own reality, you'll be like, that is not happening to me. How is that their world and that's not my world, and we live next door to each other? And then there'll be the ascending timeline, which is a little different and a whole another ball game. But that's basically the majority of people will be immediate, learning how to get to the upper timeline, as those that are in the upper timeline are anchoring for everybody else.
Correct. But in the meantime, what they're doing is people don't want to be, humans don't want to be in the reality right now because it is very difficult. So what they're trying to teach everybody, or trying to persuade, especially younger and older, and entice, perfect word, that, I mean, if you're really old, you can sit literally in your chair and you can see your grandkids. If you're young, you can go to Mars and date somebody.
Exactly.
And have a whole love life going on. And
see, that is right there already something that exists, except in a purely astral form. They're just trying to bring it to the material.
Exactly. So what I found interesting is, on the same day the sphere came, that the sphere opened, it took 4.5 years. Zuckerberg puts out his virtual reality mask. Okay.
What's a mask?
Or it's like an eyepiece and ear, and literally you can sit in your chair with a diaper on and literally have food brought in. You really are eating bugs that they want you to eat, but you put it in your reality that you're eating a 9-course meal of a Roman feast back when they would, in the Roman times. And my question came up in my mind, and what the question is this frequency that they're going to start putting out? Because in my past, have always heard that there's going to be some type of EBS. I've heard that for at least the last for sure 5 years. And when it comes on, there's a voice that, like, follow your leader. And when I heard frequency and vibration from this call, I thought to myself, why isn't it where they're going to start setting people's brains up because of the phone and the frequencies of the phone, that when your phone eventually your phone will start talking with you, and you'll start incorporating yourself with your phone. And what you'll do is you'll live in a bathroom and you will have a whole life ahead of you. Because, see, people don't want, they don't want to oracle, they don't want to ground and get themselves over to the new place. And so my question is, for us three, is this is all actually old news, None of this is new to any of us. But is this the incorporation?
No,
You say no, Oracle.
because it's been going on for 3 years.
T, what do you say?
I really didn't hear what Oracle said. No.
Oh, yes, she said no. Oracle, say it again. You said
No, because it's been going on much longer.
yes. But then the question is this when they is this the time when in this reality that we live in, they're going to start combining it where because everybody's got a cell phone. I mean, literally, it's like
Well, I will tell you that the answer again is no, because
okay.
it's been going on on multiple levels for far too long and will continue to go on for much longer in a way that this is just a way for people that are awake and but still have fear in them in the background to go into a fear state.
A what stage?
A fear state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And I guess I want a bigger answer than that. I guess. And
that's the other thing is we all expect a big event.
I do. I guess I want
some people will hear that tone as the rapture. Some people will hear that tone as nuclear war. Some people will hear that tone as like my children's school is under attack. See, everyone will start perceiving these individual crises very differently, and it won't collate in the field.
But so then what happens to the human realm?
Well, so here's the other thing. Other people won't hear it at all. Those that are doing their work will see that they won't even, if no one would have told me about this, I guarantee you nothing will come out of my phone. I'll bet money.
That's curious. Yeah.
Right.
That's curious. Well, I'm kind of connecting more with the trifurcation where those that Oracle just mentioned, they're in that descending group. I mean, I think that's where if you want to call it an activation, that's where it happens. It's in that it's breaking up the different types of group, the ones that are descending, the ones that are blended, and the ones that are anchoring. I mean, like she said, it's going to be an individual interpretation. Their perception is based on them. And so I think that's how I would see that what you're asking, Teacup, is that's how I think it's going to be interpreted. It's the perception of these different groups.
But is it the
no.
Okay.
Nope,
it's
a middle of it right now because there's a process. There's a before, there's a event, and then there's after.
Yeah, I guess I guess what I guess what I want to hear is the areas that people go off in. I think that they're going to go off in a different spaces and or maybe I shouldn't say spaces. Maybe I should say
what if everyone goes into their own perception, like Oracle said? She said some people will hear it as my child's in danger at school. Some people will hear it as the other example she put out. Maybe it's not a collective response. It's more of an individual response that each person is dealing with at that moment. I mean, and everybody's dealing with it in an independent way, oddly, but not as a group collective.
Which is why when I say that we all have an agreed upon shared reality,
Yeah.
When I say reality is shifting, that's what's shifting. These agreed upon standards of reality will no longer be the agreed upon standards of reality.
Okay.
And that's almost too hard to conceive of until you're in it.
But I think this is when the splintering effect begins and when particles start getting thrown out. Because I think that,
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And
that's the difference. The difference is not going to be that suddenly people are gone. Suddenly, what the difference is suddenly you perceive everyone outside of you is walking around aimlessly because they can't figure anything out, and they're looking at this piece of a zipper and they're like, "What do I do? How does this work?" So you're going to be perceiving it from your position as they're splintering because you are at that vantage point.
okay. Okay, so no, I think I'm gonna be good. Thank you. But this is what my back thought is, and that is that this is this is the way the deletes have controlled our heads, controlled our what's going on, and this is another one of their tests, and just to see where humanity is, where they can take everybody to except the ones that are not willing. I mean, I know DARPA is like, I don't even like to say those kind of things, but it's these programs that have been going on, as we all three agree, forever. And it's because we three know. I don't think the common man knows what's going on out there. And that is why I believe these events are coming to throw people into these different spaces. And I'm not making myself clear because I've got a whole other image in my mind that's coming that I perceive particles. I perceive it splintering out into particles. And what I see is this, that it was that the people that are connected will look at this and go, this is a joke. This is the reality of them trying or getting rid of everybody, because the plan is X amount of people. I mean, if you believe in this 2030 agenda, there's the plan is there's X amount of people, and if you're not a chosen one, then you're not here on this planet. And
that's a perfect way to show where the deception lies. By saying that, what we assume is everyone's dead, but actually what will be happening is there'll probably be a little chubs and there'll be batteries. So there'll still be equal amount of people on the earth. It just will be, the goal is to have only 4,400 or whatever they say conscious people, and the rest are in a false father, alien, God concept, virtual reality hell state, in which they are constantly getting what they need, which is the offerings to their overlords, which are gone. See, here's the difference. That's the difference, is that this entire battle is over. It's already won. It's just the final remnants of the human conscious mind learning to become free again.
But who won?
So think about it this way: the cosmic energies, the cosmic source field of creation has been reintroduced to the land, which has not been around in a long time. More than 5,000 years, more than 13, more than 25, at least maybe I'd say about 50, if not more. And this is part of the human being that has been genetically and biochemically changed over time to re-access the parts of themselves that are deep within our cellular DNA knowledge bases. And only once people exit the matrix and realize that it's almost a joke, that's when they have to, like, preconceived notions have to go out the window, because nothing is what we thought it was. Nothing that we think is real.
Okay, so
And that's where the agreed upon standards makes a lot of sense, because that is what's changing. There's nothing agreed upon, and that is when we start creating our own
Reality.
rules. And or that's old, rules is an old word, but creating our own. And I know my guides have constantly been telling over the past years, you've got to get your own plan together. Actually, it slipped my mind. They said, but they're telling you, you've got to create your own way of life, your own guidelines, your own how you're going to be in a group.
So are we going to go back to, like, planting our own food?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
But realize that there are parallel structures going in place as we speak, and have been for a while, including the projects I do are active parallel energy, active parallel water, working with the water, active parallel housing structures.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're very busy. So don't think that there are not a lot of people on this planet that we just are not individually interacting with, working on parallel systems. And absolutely. As if it was a strategic war, think about a war effort. In war, they strategically place their allies in situations in which they do not know each other exist until the time comes. And it's very similar to this, where they'll all be finding that there'll be multiple people, probably even within geographic proximity, that are working very similar parallel structures, that we will have this synchronistic meeting in which we can finally put it into working action. So parallel structures are going up all over the place. Projects are being worked on. Things that have been in development for 200 years are finally coming to fruition.
So is it malevolent or benevolent?
What is what?
Parallel structure?
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's where our personal discernment, and why these last 3 years have been so confusing. It's all about learning discernment. We're being trained through trial by fire to discern truth for ourselves. And that's where you discern if that parallel structure is for you or not.
Okay, so I guess I'm just addicted to the matrix, because I always think that we have to have a community, and we have to have family, and we have to have, but if we're talking about this, then where does human go?
Here's the best part about this. Go with the flow. Let it all play out in front of you. Confident of your own success and that you're going to be okay. Because the more you try to control, the more it will get away from you. It's like trying to hold onto cupping your hand in some water and pulling it up. It all fall out of your hand, because it's not meant to be in your hand unless you have done it right. Anyway, I'm sorry, that was a terrible analogy, but you have to go with the flow. It'll naturally show up in front of you if you are in a balanced state within oneself. That's what it all comes down to. Confidence in your own reality bubble.
Oracle of Delta, do you think that is what everybody calls ascension? Evolution? Not evolution, but ascension?
It is evolution. That's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but do you think that's what everybody's calling ascending?
A single event. It's not the rapture. We're not going to all go flying into the air and wow. No, nor are we going to blast off in light, or are we going to have alien ships come get us? None of that stuff. Nothing that we could ever conceive of is happening, except for the fact that we retake control of our reality, because in fact we are the ones that control it.
Yeah.
That is ascension.
Okay.
We're going to have to wrap it up in a few minutes.
Okay, so do we
And we'll do a third one.
yeah, do we wrap now or
Well, I would like to just say again, I honestly think that with that kind of explanation, I think that is what people, the word ascension, that is what we are doing. You know, where our vibrational essence is going in the direction that we want it to go in. It's not one direction, it's our direction.
Yeah.
And that's just a word that we've all used. That's the word that we've all been taught to use, but everybody teaches it as everybody, either you're ascending or you're not ascending, and that is true,
right.
but
Yeah,
And that's why a blended reality exists, because those
yeah,
that are currently co-opted in the timeline, negative timeline, don't have to be.
explain that. Don't have to be what? Co-opted into the timeline?
I'll do it as soon as we go to the next video. But basically, when you're in the blended reality, you can choose to get out of the blended reality and go up.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a few more things in everybody's heads before we end this one. I want to talk about the month of October is always a very important month. We can literally go through the calendar right now of the calendar that we believe is the calendar. Just let me preface it with that. We've got there's always to look out for the 1010. We've got a Ring of Fire coming in on October 14th, and we can go on and on. The other thing I want to bring up is how far do we okay, lab meat is on your supermarket shelves. Is this part of the virtual reality forma?
okay. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with part 3.